Welcome back, Bad Batch fans. We are here in the studio. Scorcher outside, but nice and cool here. On to episode number 6.
But before we get into non-weather related subjects, let's roll that intro. So, episode number 6 in the books, a title is Decommissioned.
Yeah, we kind of hop right into the action, I guess. Right away, they're on another mission from Sid. Yeah, hopping off to get us a battle droid. One of the kind of the I don't know, I can't remember what they were called, like a leader droid, or basically just kind of like a command droid.
It can it coordinated all the other droids, the attacks. It analyzed the attacks of the enemy and improved their attacks so they would win more battles.
That's right. So I mean, I can understand being a hot commission, the Empire would want to destroy that because it had all the data to take out the clones.
Yeah.
So interesting little tidbit there. That so yeah, they're on the mission, and Omega's looks like she's part of the team now.
Yeah, right from the get-go, right off the bat, before they actually get on the mission, she's in there practicing with her new laser bow, and they're kind of trying to help her and guide her along, I guess, to make her become a better shot and just a better soldier, I guess.
Exactly.
And then they get rolling in. They take on another, I guess not a bounty, but a mercenary mission from Sid.
Yeah.
And off they go to Corellia.
Yeah.
Home of Han Solo.
That's right. And always nice to see the little kind of emphasis on the history of Star Wars and throwing another planet in there that we're kind of familiar with, right?
Yeah.
So they have a big, I guess, decommissioned, droid plant.
Yeah, they're basically destroying everything.
Yeah. And so the crew gets sent over there, and Omega's in the battle, which I think is great because it just gives her further on the story. I feel like they're not just telling her to stay on the ship and
they're actually dragging her along into every mission now.
Yeah, so I think that's good progression in her character, at least being kind of a viable member of the crew, right?
Well, I'm guessing that at some point throughout the series, she's going to be very vital in one of the battles or whatever happens here in the end. So they're going to build her up and build on her character and further her arc, I guess.
Well, yeah. So we had when they're out there scoping out the droid factory or decommissioned plant, they run into a couple other.
Yeah, we got Rafa and Trace from season 7 of the Clone Wars. Yeah. We knew that there was supposed to be somebody coming up and kind of cameos coming up. I didn't expect them.
No, I didn't even register on the plate whether that was going to be sitting there, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think which is good because they were in a league. They met up with Ahsoka, and on there, and they have no love for the Empire, but they also have no love for Jedi. Which is interesting, right?
No.
So. I mean, that's a good. I mean, you got a couple little big characters from other parts of the season brought in and furthering along, and their mission, retrieve the command droid as well.
Yeah, everybody's after that.
Yeah.
That's data to further help their group in the battle against the Empire.
So and we know their group is probably the rebels.
Yeah, and we were kind of guessing as to who it might be, who they were working for, because they showed a hologram at the end, but you don't. Of course, they do the tease. Yeah. You don't actually see who it is, but we had some guesses as to who maybe it might be.
Yeah, and my thought right off the bat, I was thinking it was going to be either Bale, maybe even Saw, but you had mentioned that we saw earlier already, so that seems too logical.
Yeah, they wouldn't really hide him, I don't think, at this point.
And you thought it was going to be
Rex.
Yeah,
possibly Rex. And it makes sense because we were getting a lot more, especially with
Wrecker, yeah.
His chip is kind of almost like it's kicking in and out and it's bothering him. And I think we're going to get Rex at some point in the series showing them how to decommission those chips or how to get rid of it or remove them. It'd be kind of logical to see him. But at the same time, it also makes sense, like you said, like it could be Bail Organa because it's this battle against the Empire. So the head rebels are trying to get any kind of info. And on the Empire that they can.
Oh yeah, I think what strikes me is kind of interesting or kind of neat about all these different factions that you have kind of going along in support of the rebellion, really, and kind of they all have their own little missions, their own little agendas.
Yeah, they're not all necessarily on the same page as to how they do things, but they
Yeah.
all don't. They all dislike the Empire.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of neat to see how they all kind of meet up eventually. Like you've got maybe Rex is running his side missions, and you got Bail on his agenda, and then you've got Saw Gerrera on his agenda, and I think we wouldn't have had all that if we wouldn't have seen when with Rogue One coming out. Kind of that fleshing out how they got to the point in A New Hope, and I think these just add along to the story. Really, these little missions.
Yeah, it actually really fills in that backstory, and it's not necessarily a direct backstory.
No.
You can have all this kind of side backstories, and you can take the story in different directions, but still kind of tie them into that overall story. Especially like right now with the Rebellion, like anything in that time period between the prequels and Rise of Skywalker, you can really fill in anything there.
Oh yeah.
And then it seems like that's kind of the time period they're still staying in. I think it's just a matter of time before we get, obviously, before those and after those time periods. But right now, it's like you can play in that whole entire world, but it's still, no matter what you do, the Empire is involved and the Rebellion's kind of involved. So we're going to get a lot of those side stories filling in the backstory.
I agree, and I think some people are just fine with watching the original trilogy and feeling confident. That's all they want. They just want your New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and they don't give a rat's ass about the rest of the stuff.
No.
But there's a lot of Star Wars fans, I think, that want to know how the rebellion got to the point that it did to fight the Empire. And I'm one of those guys that loves that backstory, finding out, fleshing it out, how these guys all got to that point.
I'm also on board with that. I'm a little more skeptical, though. Like, I'm one of the people who would love to have that backstory filled in. It's just a matter of how they do it. I don't like them taking liberties and stuff and changing things up, to kind of suit the narrative of modern times. Stick with the story you got, which was a great story. So, and they seem to be doing that for the most part. So so far so good. Yeah. But if they fill in the backstory right, I'm all on board. But Disney has a habit of not doing what's best for the story necessarily.
Doing a few things that are a little unsavory in the Star Wars world.
Yeah, they've upset a lot of people, but it seems like they got a lot of the right people heading in the right direction right now. We can only speculate, as to why that is, or who's really in charge, and what changes might or might not be happening at Lucasfilm. But right now, it seems like things are kind of going in the right direction.
Yeah, and I hope it continues, because right now we're getting kind of the fill-in stories, and the show is holding my attention. I feel like the episodes are picking up a little bit, and I'm definitely into what's going to happen to these guys.
Yeah, there was a couple slow episodes. Like I was like thinking, okay, maybe it'll pick up. Like it always has that slow start to these series, it seems. But yeah, it's starting to pick up, and we're getting a lot more action and a lot more story and expanding on these characters and their arc. One thing I brought up while we were watching, and I kind of I was kind of wondering what happened, and maybe we'll get more backstory in the future. But when they got to Corellia, you didn't really see any traffic.
No,
they were able to just land there.
Yeah, that's true.
But when they hopped out of the ship, they're looking around to see if there was any droids or Imperials. So it seems like Corellia itself is like almost like just destitute. Like it's weird.
Well, yeah, because then when we saw during the Solo movie, we saw a busy port, people trying to join up in the Empire and really becoming a hub, right? And maybe that droid factory or the droid decommission plant was in
a different area,
different quieter area. But yeah, it seemed like Corellia was a little bit more, vibrant, I guess, in the Solo movie especially.
Yeah.
And you're right, maybe things just haven't really picked up yet. But there's another thing, seeing a little bit more fleshed out of Solo would be, like as a young man going forward, be kind of cool. I'd like to see a little more of that.
Yeah, make Solo 2 happen. I was actually a fan of the movie.
Me too.
Realistically, they haven't really done too many things wrong with any of the Star Wars stories, movies. I think there's more backlash from the Last Jedi that kind of hurt Solo itself, but you got to see that world, and I think Solo took place well after this.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
so it's weird to see like what happens in between that time period that they're kind of hustling and bustling, but at the same time, Corellia seemed like a very much a what's the right word? Like not a mining facility, but
A
like,
busy port kind
but
of.
yeah, but kind of still a dirty
Yeah.
world, and not necessarily a clean world. But
No,
but
exactly.
I find it weird, yeah, that there's really nothing there at the time. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll maybe get some more backstory on Corellia maybe
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, good episode. You know, we're just getting more into it and getting different groups involved, and I'm looking forward to the next episode, and you know, just amping it up.
Well, that does it for the latest installment of the Bad Batch, episode number 6. It's titled Decommissioned. Things are just starting to amp up, and where do we go from here?
Well, hopefully we get a little bit more action and flesh out the story a little bit further. But I want to thank you guys for joining us here at the Blazing Overture. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will see you in the next video.